In 2000, Robert Putnam's Bowling Alone warned American civil society was breaking down due to isolation and withdrawal from organized group participation. At the same time, online social networking burst onto the scene, creating pseudo-community and relationships. Amazingly, this technology allows us to consume information at the speed of light, from news to gossip, personal points of view, conspiracy theories, and more. The more likes can take anyone's perspective viral in minutes. Today, human dialogue is dominated by AI and algorithms, narrowing us into echo chambers of us versus them, a disdain for verifying facts, and lapses of human kindness, ranging from canceling to placing certain identities and entire groups outside the circle of human concern. One's point of view is now meshed with one's identity. Others' points of view are no longer opportunities to explore, but rather identity threats, locking us in a battle for our dignity. In response to the perceived threat, anxiety and fear can make us build walls, or we can respond by building bridges. Our responses are greatly shaped by the stories we tell ourselves about others from within the protective walls we have around us. We often interpret others' points of view and responses as direct assaults on our dignity. One response we may employ is the tactic of perspective taking. Though well-meaning, it leads us to be in our own heads, essentially engaging in mind reading and falling victim to confirmation bias as we take on what we think others are feeling and thinking based on our limited or inaccurate knowledge, all without ever asking them a single question. A deep fear of those we consider the other has us racing to accept false narratives, which fuels isms that thrive on an us versus them mentality. Our worlds become small echo chambers, leaving democracy and civil society vulnerable. Yet, another response of perspective honoring can reignite a healthy curiosity and desire to understand the varied mindsets and feelings of our human family, perhaps enabling us to become the world house envisioned by Dr. King. Dr. King used the following metaphor in his last book, From Chaos to Community. Quote, "We have inherited a large house, a great world house, in which we have to live together, black and white, Easterner and Westerner, Gentile and Jew, Catholic and Protestant, Muslim and Hindu, a family unduly separated in ideas, culture, and interest, who, because we can never again live apart, must learn somehow to live with each other in peace." End quote. Perhaps the bridge to peace begins with the questions. Psychology and neuroscience show that a well-thought question can slow our heart rate and racing mind, re-engage our curiosity, and remind us we are engaging with another human being just like us. Perspective honoring is a pedagogy combining the question formulation technique, dignity for equity frameworks, and the ancient Jewish practice of understanding human nature through questions, or shailot. Through questions refined and imbued with appreciation, acceptance, treating fairly, and validation, we can learn to build and restore relationships by honoring the dignity and perspectives of those portrayed as other. When we endeavor to strengthen our muscles of inquiry with questions imbued with dignity, we can seek insight into each other's anxieties and hopes of self-determination, which is the inherent right of all peoples. This does not mean we condone or accept acts of hatred and violent domination. When we learn to honor the perspectives of those perceived as our other, we can get out of our heads and into our hearts. We release old stories, stereotypes, limited knowledge, and traps of oppression Olympics to the possibility of learning, hearing, integrating, asking better questions, and perhaps bridging and restoring relationships built upon the dignity of us all.